Miss Navayan? A deep and still voice asked you from the other side of the phone. You grabbed your phone in your hand as it was previously stuck between your ear and shoulder due to the engagement of your hands in preparing dinner for you and your brother. No, God help, is it again some loan shark? You thought and gulped hard before replying. Yeah, it's me, how may I help you? Well, miss, come to the Chongdam police station. He spoke in a calm tone while you were there half drenched with sweat. Police station? But why? You asked being flustered. We can't tell you that on phone. He simply denied to answer your question. Okay, I'm coming. You replied before hanging up the call. What should have happened? Even Mir isn't home. You thought about your brother and finally left your dorm. Mir, what on earth are you doing there? I almost shouted as I saw the most unexpected at that moment. Mir, my only brother, was locked up in the prison. Noona, I didn't do anything. Please take me out of here, Noona. He kind of cried while pleading. I then shifted my attention towards the desk where some accountable officers were sitting. Sir, why you locked him up? What did he do? I asked one of them as anxiety dominated my voice. He got collided with a car while speeding up his bike on the main road. He replied, making me shot a burning glare at me, which he successfully dodged. Sir, please let him go. He's just a minor. I pleaded him. That's one of the reasons why we kept him, miss. He's a minor and still riding the bike. I mentally slapped myself as I apparently messed it up more. Sir, I can write the apology and responsibility letter, but please let him go. I again asked him with my hands glued together. Miss, we can't help you with that. You can talk to the man he collided with. He's right there. He spoke and gestured me to go to a particular place. I turned my head towards that spot and found a decent looking man standing there. His appearance was really formal in a formal suit. I walked towards him and bowed before speaking up. Sir, I'm really sorry for the trouble my brother caused, but please let him out. I pleaded him. I'm sorry, miss, but I can't. He was about to add something, but I cut him. Please, sir, don't say that. I'll even pay for your car damages. I again asked him, though I knew that money was something that... Miss, you don't have to do that. And about letting him out, I have to ask my boss. He gently spoke. Your boss? Then please ask him. I continued with my pleadings. Okay, wait here. He spoke up and led for a gated cabin. He came out not much after, and this time there was a guy walking behind him. I frowned as I couldn't see his face. He really put great efforts to hide himself. He was wearing a mask and a cap that was covering his forehead up to his eyes. He was in much casual and loosely fitted clothes. They walked towards the desk and the guy signed some papers after conversing a bit with the officer. Let the boy come out. An officer instructed the gatekeepers to unlock the prison, which made my eyes shine. Sir, wait! I shouted as I saw the suited man leaving the station and walked towards him. Thank you so much, sir. I showed him my gratitude by bowing down. Well, you don't need to thank me. It was him who made your brother free. He spoke while smiling and pointed his finger towards the guy who was already leaving the station. Oh, is he your boss? I asked him by looking at the leaving guy only, making the man nod. Well, I really want to pay back you and your boss. Yeah, you may take my number. Call me once you get your car repaired. I'll pay for it. I spoke and waited for him to respond. Okay, miss, as you wish. He replied while smiling, and I smiled back. Just why did you come to Chongdam? Don't tell me that you again started your part-time job. I burst out at me as we just came out of the station. It was just... Noona, I just wanted to help you in making some money to get rid of those sick dads. He spoke in low voice while looking down. Mir, how many times I've told you that you don't need to put yourself in all these? I'm here and mom and dad too are working hard in village. Just focus on your studies. I cleared my point while speaking. But Noona, I cut him midway and spoke. Enough of this discussion. Let's go home now. About that man, Noona, will we have to pay him? He asked out of nowhere, making me nod. I insisted him to let me pay. Here's his card. I said while taking out the card the man gave me a while ago inside the station. John Jungkook? I shouted loud enough as I read the card. John Jungkook? What about him, Noona? Why are you bringing him up? He asked in a worried tone. That man was his manager. It means you collided with John Jung. I looked at me while he was giving me a what's wrong kind of look. You little punk, didn't you get any other car to collide with? I spanked his head, making him whine. No, no, what are you doing? I'm injured. Just shut it up. Oh no, what I'm going to do now? I even promised his manager to pay for his damage. How much will it cost? I bet it will be more than worth of my whole existence. How I'm going to pay him? I grabbed my hair in frustration and almost cried at my own fate. Excuse me, miss. I turned my head around as I heard a voice. Oh, why are we here, sir? I asked, being flustered as I saw the manager of Jungkook standing there. Sorry for hearing your conversations, but you really don't need to pay for the damage if you don't find it comfortable. And as I heard his words, I let out a deep sigh internally and smiled. Oh, thank you so much, sir, for your consideration, and I'm sorry too. And yeah, you have my number. Call me whenever you need me. Even though not with the money, but it would be my pleasure to help you and your boss in any way. Well, a good night ahead, miss. He bowed and was about to leave, but I stopped him, making him raise his brows. Are you John Jungkook's manager? I asked him in a low voice. Yeah, I am. He nodded and spoke. I see. I spoke while tiptoeing and tilting my head to get a glance of the idol, who was way more famous for being rude and cold than being a singer or dancer. After putting some efforts, I could finally see him. He was sitting nonchalantly on the passenger seat of his car with his eyes closed. He looked calm and pacified. It wasn't much hard to say that nothing that existed in the mortal world had the potential to shudder him down. But he isn't really that rude. I carelessly spoke, but immediately realized that I was right in front of his manager. He looked at me with squinted eyes while I just gave him a nervous kind of smile. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. It's okay, miss. I'll be going now. He bowed and left for the car and then drove away. Nuna, I guess we should leave. I'm hungry. He whined from behind and grabbed my arm. Yeah, let's go. I nodded and we both left. Nuna, your phone is ringing. Me shouted from the living room while watching TV. Bring it to me. You replied from the kitchen. Nuna, please, I'm busy. He whined, making me boil in anger. Me, just bring it to me. I'm the one who's busy here. You yelled at him as you were doing the dishes after the dinner. Me, you are coming or not? You again shouted, but he made you shut by receiving the call and keeping it near your ear. Hello? You spoke while stuttering and glared at me as you weren't ready for it. Am I talking to Miss now? The person from the other side asked. Yeah, you are, you replied. Good evening, miss. This is Jung Min-suk speaking, manager of John Jungkook. He introduced himself. Oh, yeah, good evening, sir. Your tone suddenly changed as you recognized him. You took the phone from Me's hand and wished him back. Actually, miss, I need your help. He spoke in much urging tone. Yeah, sure, just go ahead. It would really be my pleasure, you assured him. Well, can you go to the MYM Entertainment Agency? Sir is waiting there. Actually, he is in urgency and I can't go to him as I'm stuck in a traffic jam. Yeah, sure, but I don't think I know where that agency is. Would you consider sending me the address? You asked him. Yeah, sure, I'm just sending it. He spoke and after a while you hung the call up. What's it, Nuna? Where are you going? Mir asked as you untied your apron to pay back for your sins. You spoke and dangled the apron around his neck before tying it around his waist. What? He asked, being flustered at your act. Well, because I'm leaving, so you're the only one who's left here to do the remaining dishes. You looked at him while he was standing there with a blank face, making you grin. Okay, now I'm leaving. Do it well. Fighting, you said and left the kitchen to get ready. Oh, that was quite far. I guess I should have taken a bus. I spoke while catching my breath as I walked all the way here to the agency. Wow, this building is so giant. How am I going to find him? I mumbled as I entered the building. I was wandering around when a guy walking towards me caught my attention. Oh, he's Jungkook only. I thought as I immediately recognized him as he wasn't wearing any mask or hat. Rather, he was wearing the simplest white shirt and a pair of black colored trousers. Good evening, sir. I'm Nam Vayan. Your manager sent me here. I spoke while going down once he was standing in front of me. He nodded and started to walk, making my brows furrow. Where's he going? He doesn't need me, I thought while standing there and watching him leaving. But I got flinched and my eyes grew wider when he turned around suddenly to face me. "Ain't you coming?" he asked with an almost expressionless face and a brow raised. "Oh, yeah, I'm coming," I replied before following him. "Will I have to tell you every single thing you are supposed to do?" he asked from inside his car with same expressionless face but annoyance in his voice. I'm sorry, sir. I apologized while bowing down. "Get into the car," he spoke, and I sincerely followed his order. "Oh God, why are you sitting here?" he again showed his annoyance as I sat inside the car beside him on the passenger seat. To be honest, by that moment I too lose my patience, but I let out a sigh to keep myself calm. "Then where am I supposed to sit, sir?" I asked while looking at him. "Are you really a fool or acting like one?" At last, it seemed like he completely lost his patience as he looked at me with raging eyes. "Pardon, I didn't understand, sir." I kept my tone calm while inside I was burning. "Didn't Minsuk tell you why I called you?" he at last asked a reasonable question. "No, sir," I shook my head. "Well, then let me tell you. Drive me to my mansion." He ordered me straight away, which made me shout right at his face. "Drive? But I don't know how to drive, sir." I told him and cleared my point. "You must be really kidding me. If you don't know how to drive, then what on earth are you doing in my car?" He almost shouted, which made me finally lose my temper. "Wow, you're saying it like as if I got into your car on my own. You are the one who forced me." I was annoyed, but I didn't let it dominate my conscience, and I didn't let my tone become rude. "Well, if I was the one who made you sit, then the very same person is telling you to get out now," he ordered me while his face again became expressionless. I scoffed in disbelief and got out of his car. Seriously, I can't believe this man. When he doesn't even know how to drive the car, then why on earth he owns one? I mumbled annoyingly as I was walking few steps behind Jungkook. "I can hear you, Miss Nam. Try cursing me in a lower voice." He spoke without looking back at me in a nonchalant tone. I'm sorry, sir." I facepalmed myself and spoke up loudly before pacing up to reach his level. "Sir, should we call a taxi?" I asked him third time while he glared at me with same intensity. I really could sense his cold look hidden behind the black mask that he was wearing. "I think I've already told you multiple times that I couldn't bear those typical air fragrances of taxis. It kind of suffocates me." He spoke, making me curse my existence. "I never insisted you to accompany me. You can leave whenever and wherever you want." He continued. "No, I can't. I promised your manager that I'd help you." I spoke in a low voice with disappointment clearly audible in it. "You and Jungkook were walking for almost half an hour. You were groaning every now and then as your legs weren't helping you much, and icing on the cake was his heavy backpack that you were carrying on your back. Even though it was the month of December, but you were still sweating. We can rest here for a bit if you want to." He spoke as you were walking beside a roadside lake. "Oh really? Thank you so much, sir." You sighed in relief and left the road to step on the green carpet of dresses that was spread all around the lake. It's so cold here, but it feels fresh." You inhaled deeply the air that was getting colder as the night was growing dark. You turned your head towards Jungkook and found him removing his mask. You were trying to read the facial expressions he had, but all you could notice was a blank face with a blank gaze. But soon you frowned as his face suddenly wore a different kind of look, as if he remembered something. They say we lose our memories in time, but I don't believe these things. Rather, if we keep reminiscing them, they'd never fade away. I spoke as I shifted my gaze from the lake to him standing beside me. "I bet that this place is nostalgic for you. Try recalling your memories and believe me, you'd feel as we're reliving them." I looked at him and smiled. He looked at me with most pacified eyes and smiled, and this was the very first time when I saw him smiling. His smile was really one of a kind. It was calm, soothing and precious. It seemed as if he trusted me and my words. This lake is really bringing me back to past. A past that probably had more worries and tears, but still I don't know why and how I want that time back. You know, Miss Nam, when we were trainees, we used to come here whenever we felt low, whenever we felt exhausted. It was really a way to get freshened up. You see that tree? That's where we used to sit and forget about the world. There existed only us, just 7 normal boys, nothing more, nothing less. He was narrating his life experiences while I was being an ideal listener, just listening to him. And we even used to compete, like who's the fastest runner. I really miss those days of togetherness. He finished and exhaled deeply. But you are still together, they all are still next to you. And I think that's the biggest fortune, to have your loved ones beside you. I spoke, taking his attention. He looked at me and just smiled. Well, you can compete even now, if you want to. I continued. With whom? He asked in his signature cold tone. The one who's standing right beside you. I spoke and pointed myself. Seriously? You are betting to run when you can't even walk properly. He scoffed, making me frown. Don't belittle me, sir. I really can show you. I said in a gentle tone, overflowing with confidence. Okay, as you wish. Let's see. He said while removing his knee-length overcoat that he wore because of the fierce weather. Oh, my legs are hurting. I murmured as I was running with all my might, but still I was like meters behind him. Sir, wait, let's end. My eyes widened and the words got stuck as I watched him tripping and then landing harshly on the ground. Sir, are you okay? I ran to him and asked while panting heavily. I don't think that someone who just got tripped is supposed to respond to such a cliche. He spoke and looked up at me. She can never speak straight away. I muttered in annoyance. I again heard you, miss. He scoffed, making me roll my eyes. Whatever. I mumbled and stretched my hand out to make him stand up on his feet. Yeah, what are you doing? I shouted as I too landed beside him due to a strong pull. Oh, what am I doing? What you are doing? You should have stayed firm and stable. He annoyingly said. Oh, now come on. I'm stable and firm this time. I got up and again gave him my hand. Thanks. He pulled himself up and spoke, which really sounded weird. Let's go now. He spoke and started to walk. Oh, wait, sir. I think your ankle is sprained. You won't be able to push your weight on your foot. I spoke and grabbed his arm as he was about to stumble again on one of his feet. No, I'm alright. He let go of my hand and again started to walk, or better say tumble. It's okay, sir. Let me help you. I insisted him, and this time he didn't deny. Okay, but give me my backpack then. You won't be able to carry that. He asked me and extended his hand out. Oh, no, it's alright, sir. It's not that heavy and you're injured too. I'm okay with it. I denied him gently. Even if that's not heavy, but it's no lie that I am. Just give it to me or we both, along with this innocent bag, will land on the turf ground. He spoke bluntly and took the bag from my shoulder and pushed it on his own. I nodded and laid my arm around his waist, followed by him wrapping his arm around my neck. Let's go, sir. I spoke and started to walk. Sir, should I call a doctor? You asked him as you made him sit on the edge of the bed. No, it's alright. I'll just use some pain relieving patches. He spoke while looking at his foot. I think I too need them. You nodded and whispered the last part. What do you need to? He asked as he heard your whisper. Oh, that. I was saying about pain relieving patches. I'm having severe spasm in my limbs. You replied in a low voice and shook your head. Well, I'll be taking my leave now. Good night, sir. You wished him and bowed while he nodded. You turned around to leave but stopped on your way as you heard him calling you. Miss Nam? You can stay here only. He spoke with a straight face without looking at you. Huh? No, sir, it's alright. You replied and shook your palms slightly. Just stay here. I don't want you to blame me if you get sick. He spoke with the same face and looked at you. Oh, okay, sir. He then picked his phone to call someone. A maid is coming here to take you to the guest room. You can make yourself comfortable there. He spoke up as he hung the call and you nodded. You left his room few minutes later when the maid came to escort you to the guest room. Well, he isn't that rude. Rather, I should say he isn't rude at all. He just acts like one. I thought as I laid down on the most comforting bed I could ever get on. A smile formed on my lips as I remembered him. He was way too deep and pacified as an ocean, whose depths can't be measured until one dives in it. All I could sense was that he wasn't rude, arrogant, and he wasn't cold too. Rather, he was a man who made himself wrapped up with an elegant kerchief of maturity, sincerity, and decency. I didn't realize when he dominated my thoughts, and I slowly got drifted to a virtual land of dreams. Wow, you are way too witty, sir. You said being amazed by Jungkook's witty reply to an annoying interviewer as you were driving him to high B levels while tuning on his interview that was telecasting on the radio. Witty? Well, it's a new word to hear. He paused and sighed before continuing. They call it rude and arrogant. Hearing his words made your attention drifted towards him, and precisely his tone made you do so. It was different than his usual kind of cold one. A kind of frustration that he was hiding behind those expressionless faces was clearly audible in it. You couldn't find appropriate words to reply him, or there weren't any actually. You sighed and tried to change the radio station into a refreshing one. You smiled as at last you found one. It was playing his very own song, Euphoria. You looked at him and found him leaning on the seat with his eyes closed. You knew he was tired and exhausted. You again became attentive on the way and started singing along with him and tried to touch the high notes. You knew well that you couldn't be able to do that, and probably that was why you did it. As your voice cracked badly at the highest note, you again looked at him to see his reaction. A satisfactory smile made its way on your face as you found him smiling while still closing his eyes. You felt proud on yourself and you again shifted your gaze towards the way ahead. Well, it's appreciable, Miss Nam. You learned driving the car pretty well in much lesser time. He praised you while turning to you as he was about to get up the car. Thank you, sir. You replied briefly and gave him a genuine smile. He again turned and was about to open the door, but you stopped him. So wait. He turned to face you with raised brow. Sir, not only driving the car, but I learned so many things since I met you, you said in a sincere tone. Like what? He asked with raised eyebrow. Like I have learned how hard and challenging are the lives of idols. Like lights and cameras, the only things that they face. Sometimes they have to face a phase of complete darkness and despair, and sadly, no one is around them at that time, not even their very own shadows. Along with love and support of their fans, they have to face an insane criticism of their haters. And at last, I've learned that they ain't rude or cold or arrogant as they are stereotyped by the society occasionally. It's just that they are frustrated sometimes, and I think it's humane to be. Your words were sincere and direct. You were happy with yourself as you again made me smile wholeheartedly. After giving you a soothing and sincere smile, he wore his mask and got up the car. You were watching him leaving like usual, but something unusual happened that day. He turned around to face you just before entering the building. He waved his hand at you, leaving you kinda shocked at his sudden gesture. A gesture that remarked his greetings. You gently took and smiled at him. You drove away once he finally entered the building. Who's calling me this early in the morning? I slept just 3 hours ago. You mumbled in annoyance as your phone rang out of nowhere while you were still on bed with your eyes almost closed. Who's it? You asked bluntly as soon as you received the call without checking the identity of caller. Miss Nan, hearing just these two words in a deep and familiar voice made you short open your eyes and sit on the bed immediately. Sir? You asked, being flabbergasted at the sudden call of your boss, Jungkook. Yeah, it's me. I called you as I wanted to order something to eat. He replied, making you let out a sigh in disbelief. This man, does he think I run some kind of restaurant or something? You thought as you were frustrated enough. Oh, is it? Then what do you want to eat, sir? You asked him in an overly sweet tone to show him your annoyance. I don't know, just bring me whatever you like. He just gave an indifferent shrug. Okay, sir, I'll be there. You replied briefly before hanging up the call. He can't even let me sleep peacefully. Where my conscience was when I agreed to become his personal assistant. You cursed your fate as you threw your phone on the bed while getting off it to get ready. Oh, finally I reached. I inhaled and exhaled deeply to catch my breath as I again walked all the way here to his mansion, just to pinch some pennies. I entered the mansion and found everyone doing their chores, but Jungkook was nowhere in my visibility. Inha, where is Sir? I asked one of the maids whom I knew well. She looked at my panting figure pathetically and pointed a finger upwards. Rooftop? I shouted right at her face, making her flinch a bit. She nodded, making me again curse my fate. Why is he doing this to me? Can't he just stay in his room? And let's say if he wants some fresh air, then why on earth on the third floor? The garden outside is the very same fresh air. I whined, making her chuckle a bit. You going to keep whining or you have any plans to go to him? She asked me and I nodded weakly. I'm going, I almost whispered while looking down and walked towards the staircase. Just look at him, how nonchalantly and carelessly he is standing there while making me suffer. I looked at him and whispered while leaning on the door of the rooftop to normalize my breaths. He was standing near the cliff with both of his hands stuffed in the pockets of his trousers, with the back facing me. He again seemed non-shudderable. You came, Miss Nam? He asked without looking at me, which probably meant that he heard me, but I really didn't care. Yeah, I replied as I walked towards him. Here's your meal, sir. I spoke-footed the bag stuffed with food towards him. What you brought? He asked and kept his gaze fixed at the garden downwards. A plate of tomato spaghetti and a cup of freshly brewed tea to keep you warm and fresh. My mood suddenly took a turn of 180 degrees as I described him the meal, something I liked the most. I looked at him smilingly and found his still gaze already at me, and as our eyes met, they got locked for a couple of moments, until he looked away and cleared his throat. I too got my senses back and looked away swiftly. You made it. He spoke up in a familiar cold tone. Me? I asked and looked at him in disbelief. You really think I would have such kind of breakfast? These kinds of dishes aren't meant for us. He turned around to leave but stopped on his track and looked at me before speaking up. For a sound body and a sound mind, one shouldn't skip any of the 3 meals. He walked away after finishing up, leaving me behind astonished at his behavior. What was that? I was flustered as I watched him leaving. Without much of my knowledge, a smile made its way on my face. As I remembered the moment when I casually told him that I skipped breakfast due to lack of time, though it was because of the lack of money. He ordered it for me? He's so warm-hearted. I spoke as I kept my hands on the palisade and looked downwards at the garden. My eyes got again locked on a figure that was walking down there in the garden with the most enchanting beauty. The beauty which suddenly seemed getting more and more radiant by his mere presence. I smiled at seeing him getting into his car and then driven away by a driver. Let's have breakfast, Vayan. I spoke to myself as I sat on a sofa. Well, that was nice. I wholeheartedly praised the person who cooked the meal I just finished. This sun, it makes me feel dizzy. I closed my eyes and looked above as I was sitting in a soothing shower of sun rays. Should I take a nap? But where? I can't sleep on this sofa. It seems expensive. I spoke as I wandered my eyes around. Yeah, that would be perfect. My eyes glistened as I found a beanbag in the corner. I walked towards it and laid down on it. It didn't took me much time to go into a deep slumber as I was tired enough, while the rare warmth of the sun in the month of January played its role very well too. My neck. You groaned as soon as you woke up. I didn't sleep on ground. You frowned as you found yourself on the cold and harsh floor with the beanbag above you. I stumbled during sleep. How clumsy you could be. You scolded yourself and got up from the floor while dusting your clothes. Oh, what time is it? I slept here for the whole day. You were getting surprised one after another, and the most recent was being that you found the sky completely dark with stars clearly visible. It's 9:30, you shouted as you looked at your phone. It's too late now. He definitely mad at me. I should leave now. You spoke with anxiety as you thought about your cold boss. No, don't tell me. They locked me up here? You again met a surprise, not a pleasant one, when you found the gate locked. You tried to pull and push it many times, but it didn't work. No, what am I going to do now? You grabbed your hair in panic. You were trying to keep yourself calm, but how could you? You were stuck on the terrace with literally no one around. Just the cold, bitterly cold gust horrifying you badly. Yeah, I should call him. You took your phone and tried to call Jungkook, but your fate decided to trick you more. Jungkook, please pick it up. I'm dying here. You were panicking badly as he wasn't responding to your call. You called and texted him a million times, but still no response. Then you decided to call Minsuk, but he too didn't pick up the call. They must be busy. You finally gave up and slid down the door to land on the harsh ground. You were tearing up. You glued your knees to your chest and started moving back and forth. It's so cold here. You spoke weakly that came out just as a whisper before hanging your head low. When did Vayan leave? I asked one of the maids as I just came from an award show and made myself comfortable on the couch in living room. I don't know, sir. I didn't see her leaving, she said while shaking her head. Okay, you may leave. I ordered her. Okay, good night, sir. She wished me while going down before leaving and I nodded. Should I call her? I thought as I picked my phone. It's 12:46. She must be sleeping. I spoke to myself, but soon I noticed a notification which made me frown. 19 missed calls? Who called me these many times? I thought and clicked on it and the name popped out made me anxious. Vayan? Why she called? Oh, she texted me too. My eyes grew wider as I read her text. Oh no, she's stuck on the terrace. I got up from the couch while panicking and ran towards the kitchen to get the keys. Vayan? I called for her as soon as I unlocked the door, but neither I saw her nor heard her voice. Vayan, where you are? I'm here, Vayan. I couldn't complete my words as I saw her finally. She was unconscious on the floor while a beanbag was trying hard to cover her weak and fragile figure. I ran towards her and crouched down. Vayan, wake up. I tapped her cheek, but she didn't respond. Her face was pale. She was cold, more than ice, and my heart sank at her state. I sighed and finally picked her up to head down. Someone call the doctor immediately. I shouted as I finally entered my room with unconscious Vayan in my arms. I laid her down on the bed and covered her with a quilt immediately. Sir, she's a little better now, but she could get a fever. Give her these medicines as she wakes up. The doctor instructed me while I was just glaring at her pale face. I would. I replied him briefly and he left the room after going down. I'm sorry, Vayan. I couldn't come to you when you needed me the most. I couldn't be there for you when you never left me alone. I'm sorry. I spoke while looking at her before leaving the room. Oh, whose room is this? Where am I? I asked myself as I opened my eyes in an unfamiliar room. Oh, you are awake? I heard a voice and shifted my gaze towards it. Inha? I looked at her and smiled weakly. Are you feeling better now? She asked me and held my hand. I nodded at her. Just how you got stuck at terrace? She asked me worryingly. Actually, I slept there. I replied her while chuckling a bit. Oh, Vayan, how could you? You know how worried we all were. And especially, she paused and looked towards the door to see if anyone was there. Especially, I asked, gaining her attention. She looked at me, smiled before continuing. Especially, sir. She whispered, making me frown. You mean Jungkook? I asked her and she nodded. You know, Vayan, when he was carrying you in his arms, glimpses of worry and fear could be clearly seen on his face. I've never seen him so worried and anxious, except for his family and of course his youngs. I think you're the first one apart them. And you know what the most surprising thing is? He's even making some kind of soup for you. He's down there in the kitchen. She looked at me with widened eyes as we heard someone clearing his throat. I'm cold, she mouthed as we knew that it was none other than Jungkook. She turned around to face him. I too shifted my gaze only to find him standing on the door with a tray in his hands. He raised his eyebrow at her while she just bowed nervously before leaving us both alone. How are you feeling? He asked while placing the tray on the nightstand beside. Better. I replied him while getting up and leaning on the headboard. You have fever? He asked as he placed his one palm on my forehead and the another one on his own. I guess you should take the medicines. He again spoke while sitting on the chair beside the bed. What's that? I asked him while looking at the tray he just brought. That's for you, it would keep your body warm. Here, have it. He spoke and handed me the bowl of soup. You made it? I asked him even though I knew that he did it only. He just stared intensely at me and let his expression speak in place of him. As if they were asking me, why are you asking when you already know? I broke the eye contact and started gulping down the soup as he didn't seem to be in a mood to do so. Ryan, I almost choked on the soup when he suddenly called me by my name, which was pretty new to me. What was she saying? He asked as I looked at him. Who? I asked him even though I knew he wanted to know about Inha. He again glared at me with same intensity, making me gulp. Oh, Inha! I asked him while smiling nervously. He just nodded and smirked as he noticed that he made me scared. Nothing much, she was just asking me how I got stuck on the terrace. I briefly answered without looking at him. And? He asked in a demanding tone, making me swallow hard. And she was telling me that you saved me. Well, thank you so much, sir. I smiled at him to hide my nervousness. And? He again asked. And nothing, sir, I replied him. Don't act Ryan, I've heard her. He spoke and looked at me with raised eyebrow. Then why are you asking me? I almost whispered, but he heard me. You are right. Well, Ryan, whatever she was saying was true too. He spoke, making me look at him. I don't remember myself getting that anxious for anyone except my family and my Hyungs. I was scared when I found you unconscious on the floor. I couldn't tell you how futile I felt when you were unconscious in my arms. And you know, Ryan, why I was like this? He asked and I shook my head. At first, even I was wondering why I care for you like I do for my loved ones. But now I have the answer. And the answer is you. You made me like this. I care for you because that's what I received from you ever since we met. Not even a single action of yours ever failed to reflect the comfort that you always gave me. From running with me until your legs gave up, to singing with me until your voice cracked. Everything you did always made me bend towards you a bit more. He paused and heaved a sigh of relief. I couldn't help but to stare at his pacified face as a quail stares at the moon. And I think that's what they call falling for someone. As he finished, I felt the whole world at my feet. I smiled at him and he did the same. Oh, I never thought that I'd be able to tell you all this. He sighed and looked at his feet, making me chuckle. Aren't you gonna answer me? He asked me out of nowhere, making me flinch a bit. Answer? I asked him, being confused. Seriously, Ryan, don't you think I just confessed my feelings for you? And if someone does that, we are supposed to answer. He scoffed. Yeah, answer. I repeated his words as if I was thinking over it. And really I was thinking, really hard to answer him the most appropriately. What I hated the most was those 3 cliched words that people called magical. They had become such a cliche that the purest emotions they held seemed to be getting dull day by day. Oh, you are taking too long. You know how much I'm tired? I just came from a performance. I'm going to sleep now. He showed his annoyance and got up to leave. I looked at him leaving and stopped him. Sir, stop! He turned around and looked at me. What? He asked as I extended my hand out to him. I smiled and concentrated my feelings in few words. Take my hands now. You are the cause of my euphoria. Hearing me, he smiled and held my hand before pulling me into a deep and comforting embrace.